Sorry for the not so great quality that this video could be. There's a couple friends of mine that I've promised this a while ago, and now after the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view tonight, I find that I need to be posting this. So with that said, welcome to John's Wrestling Views. I'm your host, John. Thanks for tuning in. Man, I haven't said those words in so long, and it feels pretty great. But enough about that. Like I said, Elimination Chamber tonight. Big story of the night, the show-stealing match easily. Kevin Owens and John Cena. For me, yes, show-stealing match with an ending that I definitely was not expecting. And the thing is, so I read online on Friday that effective immediately, Owens was getting signed to the main roster. The thing about that was, he wasn't supposed to quite yet. You know, he's the NXT champion, and they're like, hey, let's just try this out. You know, Sami Zayn faced Cena a few weeks ago on Raw, and that match went over really well. So, like, you know, we have this Owens and Zayn rivalry going on for the TakeOver event anyway. So it made sense to put Owens involved with Cena based on that match and the fact that TakeOver was coming up, where, of course, there's no clean-cut victor in that match, but Owens is still the NXT champion. And so they're like, hey, let's just kind of throw Owens in the mix, see how well it does, see what kind of reaction he gets on the main roster. And the fan support that Kevin Owens has been getting has been overwhelming lately. So yeah, like I said, I read Friday, effective immediately, that Owens was going to be part of the main roster. And yes, to say he fits in quite well already is an understatement. Great match with John Cena tonight. And for those of you who've seen Kevin Owens, or Kevin Steen for that matter, wrestle in the Indies, you kind of know what he's capable of. Some great moves, great wrestling arsenal, and one that it's pretty uncommon. Like, the only one in WWE I'd really see having an arsenal similar would be Cesaro. And you put him against the top player of the company right away in his debut match on the main roster, John Cena. Great match. I was expecting it to be that way, though. But to see Owens out of nowhere hit that pop-up powerbomb at the end and get a 3 count cleanly. Kevin Owens, obviously the heel in this match, beating John Cena in his pay-per-view main roster debut cleanly. That's huge. So it was announced tonight that it will be Owens and Cena in a rematch at Money in the Bank. So ideally it'll probably be John Cena's revenge story. But I'm still expecting a wrestling classic if it's anything like tonight. Only thing I ask, John Cena really should put the U.S. title on the line this time. Especially Owens beat him tonight. I get it, it's an Owens thing, at least that's what they're making it look for storyline. But Owens is on the main roster now, why not? The other thing to keep in mind, Owens is still the NXT champion. And NXT, of course, is an up and coming developmental league for WWE. So similar to how Paige was when she started in WWE, Owens' time in NXT is about done for. You know, they're wanting him to work with Samoa Joe. So what I've also read is that Owens is expected to be losing the title, the NXT Championship, by August TakeOver event at the very latest. Now, there's 3 people in contention, or could be considered contention, for the NXT Championship. One is Sami Zayn, who Zayn never officially lost to Owens at TakeOver. The other is Finn Balor, who Finn Balor beat Tyler Breeze at the TakeOver event to become number 1 contender. And then, of course, the other is Samoa Joe. Now, I'm going to distinguish, kind of dissect the 3 when it comes to this. And here's the thing, I find flaws in all of them. Or not necessarily all of them. Sami Zayn is injured. Shoulder injury, he's out. Probably 6 to 8 months, it sounds like. I don't see him getting that title contention anytime soon. And honestly, if you ask me, the next time we see Zayn versus Owens, it'll be on the main roster, because Zayn's not too far away from the main roster. If his match with John Cena on Raw a couple weeks ago is any indicator. Samoa Joe, great idea. You know, they started a Samoa Joe Kevin Owens rivalry at the end of TakeOver, which has gone real well with the WWE Universe. Here's the trouble. Samoa Joe is a part-time wrestler, at least through the summer. WWE cannot hire him full-time until he's done booking indie appearances. So he's part-time for now, at least through summer, because Joe has accepted offers through August. So until then, he can't have a full-time WWE contract. I know people like Rhino's per appearance in NXT, and I heard Joe was that way too. I don't think that's the case now. I think, you know, he has a contract WWE. It's just part-time, so he can still get those indie events in. Which leaves me with Balor. I was thinking Balor would win against Owens, but again, Kevin Owens beat John Cena tonight, fair and square. He's a mainstay on the main roster now. So the fact that you would have him lose the title to anybody on NXT, granted, that would go a long way for anyone on the NXT roster, but it would be terrible booking in general because of what Owens has done on the main roster. Had Owens lost to Cena tonight, it'd be another story, but that's not the case. Otherwise, the first ever tag team elimination chamber match was tonight. New Day retaining. Expect big things from the primetime players coming up, as they were the runners-up. Personally, I'd love to see a primetime players Kid and Cesaro tag team rivalry, but I don't know if it'll happen just anytime soon anyway, especially considering the fact that both teams are face. Kofi Kingston has been named as one of 6 so far competitors for the Money in the Bank ladder match in 2 weeks at Money in the Bank. So ideally, Xavier Woods and Big E will be defending the tag titles. I'm guessing it'll probably be against the primetime players. Though New Day has had awesome matches with Kid and Cesaro in the past, frankly, they've had too many chances now. Kid and Cesaro will be great tag champions again one day, I'm sure. But for now, let's focus on another team is how I look at it. Ryback winning his first ever championship gold tonight of any sort, becoming the new Intercontinental Champion after it was vacated. An impressive showing in the Elimination Chamber match for the Intercontinental title, where it came down to him and a cheating Sheamus. But needless to say, Ryback's champion got a good send-off with Daniel Bryan. That was pretty cool. I don't know what's next for him. Maybe a rivalry with Sheamus, I'm guessing. I don't know. But yeah, Ryback's Intercontinental Champion. The other big story of the night, Ambrose, 1-2-3, gets a victory over Rollins. Looks like we have a new champion. And the referee reversed call, disqualifying Rollins for what happened earlier in the show. So Rollins is still a champion. Ambrose only won by DQ. There's your title match for Money in the Bank. It's kind of cut and dry there. Especially Roman Reigns is in the Money in the Bank ladder match. Randy Orton's in the ladder match. So it'll be nice to see how that turns out. Money in the Bank 2 weeks away, so similar to how it was for the Chamber tonight. They have very little time to plan everything, but they'll get it done, and I'm sure we'll see yet another great pay-per-view, as Elimination Chamber did not disappoint tonight. So far, the 6 competitors for the Money in the Bank ladder match at Money in the Bank: Roman Reigns, Randy Orton, Neville, Dolph Ziggler, Kofi Kingston, and Sheamus. So maybe, I don't know who's next for Ryback then, if Sheamus is involved in the ladder match. I mean, who knows? Maybe Ryback will be put in the ladder match too. Only time will tell. In the meantime, I'll look forward to Raw tomorrow night. This episode of John's Wrestling Views, I'd like to dedicate to both my cousin, Dan Heyer, because I promised him a long time ago that the next episode he'd get a shout out after attending a wrestling show himself, which I'm still shocked about. My friend Amanda Marco, which is probably John's Wrestling Views' biggest fan, especially for not being a wrestling fan herself. Thank you guys. This episode's for you. And the rest of you viewers, thanks for watching. In the meantime, thanks for tuning in. I'm John. Have a good one.